Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Like I said, transfers begin today, and Arsenal have triggered the option to buy David Raya. That is according to Fabrizio Romano. It is confirmed. A formal statement from Arsenal is going to be released very, very soon, and David Raya will be Arsenal's first signing of the summer. However, we expect more signings right from now. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. We did talk about it actually in the morning, and we say that Raya would be, Raya definitely would be one of the signings that Arsenal make in July. And a couple of hours later, it is now confirmed. So right there from Fabrizio Romano, like you can see, he says, and he understands Arsenal have now formally activated the buy option for David Raya. He's an Arsenal player on a permanent deal for 27 million as planned. As planned. It was already decided, and now the signing has been completed. Formal statement to follow, but all done for David Raya as key part of the Arsenal project. So that is confirmed. The Spaniard joins Arsenal on a permanent for 27 million. Of course, we signed him last summer on a loan deal, which was agreed between the two clubs that eventually Arsenal would pay. Arsenal would pay up around 27 million and get the deal done. Now, for me, David Raya's signing is very significant for all the people out there that have been very impatient with Arsenal. Why aren't we doing signings? Why aren't we signing players? I think it's very, very significant. It explains what we've been talking about almost all summer. That in June, clubs were never ever going to make big money signings. Clubs were never going to spend that money. And if Arsenal are really going to do business in June, the first signing we would have made in June would have been David Raya. That is the first deal Arsenal would have made permanent. But the reason that's, the fact that we didn't make him permanent, the fact that we didn't make that deal permanent, it showed you that Arsenal were waiting and waiting and waiting until that, until that deadline on June 30th ends, and then we start making our transfers. So July the 1st, Arsenal sign David Raya. I think his impact to Arsenal is undisputed. I don't think that there is any Arsenal fan right now that would ask, why have we signed David Raya, or never wanted us to sign David Raya. If you didn't want us to sign David Raya, I would say you have a problem. Really, really, I would say you have a problem, because he's been a phenomenal signing for Arsenal ever since coming in from Brentford. He's been really good. That's all I can say. He's been really, really good for Arsenal. Clean sheets, most clean sheets in the league last season in the Premier League. I think he's a reason as to why Arsenal go to the quarterfinals by saving those penalties against FC Porto. If he doesn't save those penalties against FC Porto, I really don't think that we get to the quarterfinals, right? Yes, he did have a few mistakes in his game earlier on in his career, but as we went on, as the season carried on, we saw an improved David Raya. We saw an improvement in the player we signed. We saw an improvement, in his overall game. His distribution is up top. His save percentage is up top. I think, like I said last summer, Arsenal could have done without David Raya, no problem. But he is a massive upgrade, massive upgrade to David Raya. So when I think about, to Aaron Ramsdale, when I think about Aaron Ramsdale, I also think about, a very good goalkeeper. But to be honest, Raya is a fantastic goalkeeper. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I classify David Raya in that category of Alisson Becker, in that category of Ederson, in that category of Thibaut Courtois. And I think he's going to just going to get better. As a goalkeeper, he's just 27. He's turning, it's going to turn 28 very soon. You expect him to be on top of his game until 33. That is 5 years later. Until maybe 34. That is around 6 years later. So basically, Arsenal have made a 27 million pound signing for the next half a decade or so. That is a brilliant move. That's a very good move, right? So I want your thoughts on David Raya right in the comment box below. If you think it's a good signing, hit the like button. Let me know whether you think it is a good signing, or whether Ramsdale should have been left to become Arsenal's number one and Raya go back to Brentford. I don't think that was going to happen. The moment I saw him start every game ahead of Ramsdale, I knew he was Arsenal's number one. I knew that he was Mikel Arteta's number one, and I think he's not disappointed. The worst gamble Mikel Arteta would have made was to make would have been to make Ryan number one, and then he failed or he fumbled. That would have been the worst gamble he would have made as a manager. But I think he's a lucky guy. He's a lucky guy because he brings in a new goalkeeper when no one thinks we need a new goalkeeper. He brings in a new goalkeeper, and the new goalkeeper works well, and he works absolute wonders, right? And it's just a bargain, 27 million. You can't believe this. David Raya is cheaper than Aaron Ramsdale. So Arsenal, I think we signed Ramsdale for around 30 million. David Raya is actually cheaper than Ramsdale, and that shows you, the difference between Arsenal now and Arsenal many years ago. Arsenal many years ago, we would have signed players just for the sake of signing them, just because a player is good. You just go there and place money. But in the last 2-3 years, Arsenal have signed, I think I would say, 3 good goalkeepers. I also think like Matana was not the very, very bad goalkeeper, was not the worst goalkeeper you can think about. So Arsenal have signed around 3 quality goalkeepers in the last 3 years, or 3 or 4 years. So that speaks volumes as well. But I'm happy that the signing comes, because that means that our transfer window is now underway. That means that we've kicked off our transfer window. Clifford says, "Good evening, Cossy. Great job. Keep it up. I love you so much. Welcome, Raya, to Arsenal." Clifford from Zambia. Big up to you. Dauda says, "Good news and a good program as well." Good evening, Cossy, says Mark, and he says Raya is the best. Is good judgment when it comes to crosses and can initiate quick counter attacks. Like I have said, thank you so much, guys, for joining me, and thank you so much to the people in the comments. Like I have said, David Raya is a massive step up to the goalkeepers that we have had. When did we last have a very good goalkeeper that you can trust? I think it was, I would say, James Lehmann. I'm going to say James Lehmann, because when we think about the goalkeepers that Arsenal have had ever since James Lehmann, you have had Almunia, wasn't a bad goalkeeper, but I think we all know the story of Almunia. At times, he would make silly mistakes. Good on saving penalties, Almunia, I still remember, but he would make silly mistakes that he didn't have to make as a goalkeeper. Fabianski, that was a disaster. Chesney eventually leaves Arsenal. Wasn't a bad goalkeeper, was a good talent, but eventually turned out to be a disaster. Who else? Leno, again, not the best goalkeeper you could trust. He's not a bad goalkeeper, but not the best you can trust. Peter Cech, he was a good goalkeeper at Chelsea, not good for Arsenal. Vitol Manone, not really good, for us. Ramsdale, he can't concentrate for 90 minutes. So it's been a real struggle for Arsenal to get a proper goalkeeper. It's been a long time ever since Arsenal said we have a good goalkeeper. And during that time, Man United have had Edwin van der Sar, world-class goalkeeper, one of the best we have ever seen in the Premier League and on the international scene. Man United have also have David De Gea, good goalkeeper, never played for us for Spain, but I can still say he was a good goalkeeper. There was a time he was world class. There was a time where he was the best in the world. So it shows you that Arsenal really struggled with goalkeepers until we got David Raya. So for me, right decision, really good decision. And I think also the David Raya signing is a sign, right? It's a symbol of what is to come at Arsenal. It's a symbol of what Arsenal intend to do, but also most importantly, the level at which we are, right? Because we all say, why would Mikel Arteta drop Ramsdale? Why would Mikel Arteta, drop a player that he had just signed, and we all thought he was, he was the guy that was going to come in and revolutionize that center back, that goalkeeping role. But Raya coming in, it shows you that Arsenal have gone up a little bit, and when you look at all the things that we are trying to achieve, beating Manchester City last season, that is up a little bit. Defensively, we have conceded less goals as compared to the previous seasons. That is gone up a little bit. In terms of scoring goals, Arsenal have scored 91 goals last season as compared to the other seasons. That has gone up a little bit. And the general quality around this Arsenal side has also gone up a little bit. Like, maybe not a little bit, maybe significantly, but it has gone up. Raya makes us much better. Rice makes us much better. And Kai Havertz, if he can finishing off those chances the way he was finishing them off during the back end of the campaign, he also makes Arsenal massively much better. So for me, David Raya is a very good signing. I cannot even say no. I can't say no to such a signing. Saidu says, hi bro, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Timer says, any transfer news, please, Cossy. We are talking about David Raya. He's coming. We're also going to talk about Yokeres a little bit. Balikarunji says, good evening, Cossy. Raya is just too good to trust. Is just too good to trust in your goal. Okay. Timer says Victor Osimhen is coming to Arsenal. Cossy. Okay. Ahmed says, hi Cossy. Hope you're doing well. Okay. So the story, Arsenal have made David Raya their first signing of the summer by making that option to sign him permanent from Brentford. He's now a key part of our project, according to Fabrizio Romano, and we expect more and more of these, signings to happen. Now, I think right now the question for Arsenal and the Arsenal team is, who is next? Who is the next signing? Because 2 days ago, Arsenal announced the signing of a young goalkeeper called Lucas Nigard. I reported that story. If you've been following the channel, I did that story. Arsenal signed Lucas Nigard. Then, shortly after, Arsenal were believed to be very close to signing a goalkeeper from Espanyol. The name is Juan Garcia. So those two, situations have led to another process, another action where Arsenal have not announced, but Fabrizio Romano has announced the signing of David Raya. So the question is who next? But what I want to show you again with Arsenal here, guys, is, the way we have worked on our deals this summer has been incredible. I can confirm to you that Arsenal were not linked with Lucas Nigard before signing him. Yes, we wanted him. Arsenal did their work, but it didn't come out of the media. Fabrizio didn't do it. David Ornstein didn't do it, and the Athletic didn't put it out. The same comes with with this deal. It's just abrupt, right? It's just abrupt. Fabrizio doesn't say Arsenal are trying to trigger, Arsenal are doing this and that. He doesn't even talk about it. All he says is, here we go. Arsenal activate David Raya deal. So I think this summer Arsenal are going to work in top secrecy. Arsenal are going to try to make their deals, secret a little bit. I think it's going to be more of, Arsenal doing their deals in the background. I think it's going to be a little bit like that. We might see, tomorrow or the day after that, Arsenal agreeing another deal. We might see tomorrow, Arsenal coming out to confirm that they are, in talks with another club or maybe advanced stages. So I don't want you to feel desperate that Arsenal are not having these big links like Man United, like Chelsea, like Tottenham. I don't want you to feel afraid. It's the same thing with Manchester City. That's how they do, their business. Man City never get linked with players as many as Arsenal do, or as many as Manchester United do. And that's what Arsenal are also trying to do with Mikel Arteta and Edu. What they're trying to do, they're trying to make sure that they get deals done before people jump onto them, right? So they don't want to get Fabrizio involved. They don't want to get these deals leaked to the Athletic, to David Ornstein, and all these other guys. They don't want that. So deals are happening. July has started off with a signing, and I can confirm that this is a lot of positive. A lot of positive. We're going to see more and more deals come through. I think a striker will arrive. I think a midfielder will arrive. I also think that a left back is going to arrive at the club. And you think about Arsenal and how we've been doing our deals. Do we do them late in the window? No. We do them earlier on in the window, right? Um, Ahmed says, "Good evening, Cossy, from Nigeria. Hope you're doing very, very well." Bukenya says, "Welcome, David." And then Emeka says, "Cossy, I don't like Osimhen coming to Arsenal." Okay, you don't like Osimhen coming to Arsenal? Let's talk Gyökeres. Now, Fabrizio has been speaking on the Here We Go podcast, and he has said that Arsenal are looking at the Victor Gyökeres situation, and they're waiting for his price to come down for them to make a move. This is a story we shall expand on tomorrow as I, peruse through the sources on it and all the information around it. But what that tells you is that Arsenal are here and there. Osimhen is wanted, and obviously, we also want Gyökeres. But the problem with these two deals is that the price is up there, right? So if you want Victor Gyökeres, pray that his price comes down before Victor Osimhen's price comes down. If you want Osimhen, you pray that his price comes down before Victor Gyökeres' price comes down. I think it's going to be about what is the better market opportunity, what is the good market opportunity. That's what Arsenal are looking to do. If Osimhen will be the good market opportunity, maybe 75 million, maybe 80 million, and Arsenal think this is a good opportunity on the market, they will sign Osimhen. If they go and look at Gyökeres and the price has gone down and probably is going to cost now 65 or 70 million, and they think that's a market opportunity and therefore they need to take it, that is who we are going to go for. I think in terms of profile, both strikers have been scouted very well by Arsenal, and both of them have been given the green light, or the board has given the green light to actually sign them. So I think it's about now the price. It's about who is cheaper, who is the better market opportunity. Who are we really going to look at as as a good deal? So why you don't like Osimhen? I'm not sure why, but personally, I think it's a good 9. I wouldn't really even I wouldn't change my mind about that. I think he's a very, very good number 9. I think he's a formidable striker. I think he's a proven striker. I think for Napoli, for them to go and win the Scudetto with Osimhen scoring 20 goals, 26 goals in that campaign. And by the way, Napoli were not the most creative team in Europe. Yes, they had a very good partnership with Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia, but Napoli were not the most creative team. The likes of Peter Zelensky were there, but were they that creative the way Arsenal are creative? They did dominate games. They did create many chances. But I think Arsenal would be better for a player like Osimhen. So if you don't like Osimhen and it's non-footballing reasons, then I'm okay with that. If it's footballing reasons, I'd love to know why why you actually don't like him, because he seems like a likable guy. The people from Nigeria have told us that he's a likable guy. Emeka says, Cossy, I'm a Nigerian like him, living in Benin. Okay. That is Cotonou, Benin Republic. I don't trust his age. He's injury prone. All right. Emeka says, "Hey, Cossy, I'm your longtime fan in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Emeka. Thank you so much for being on." Ahmed says, "Good evening, Cossy from Nigeria. Big up to you, the Nigerian army. Love you guys. Really, really do. We're going to talk about African players' age." Baba says, "Perfect deal for the Gunners. David Raya is one of the best goalkeepers in the league." There's no question about that. There's no question about David Raya's capability. There is no question about Raya being one of the best goalkeepers. Actually, with Alisson getting older and with Ederson likely to move to the Saudi Arabian Pro League, Ortega might become the number 1, right? Ortega might become the number 1 at Manchester City. So if Ortega becomes number 1 at Man City, that leaves Raya with only one goalkeeper who is better than him in the league, and that is for me, Ederson. Apart from Ederson, I don't really think I would say there is another better goalkeeper than him. Because I'm just perusing through. Unless if a team signs Mamadashvili, right? If a team signs Mamadashvili from the Premier League, I could see, maybe Mamadashvili could be better than David Raya, because I think he's a really, really good goalkeeper. But in the league right now, he's top 3. Ederson, Alisson, and him. And maybe Onana could be behind him. I think Onana is behind him. Uh, Despite the fact that he doesn't get respect he deserves, I think Onana is slightly behind David Raya in being among the ball playing goalkeepers that are really good in the Premier League, right? So back to Osimhen. Back to Osimhen. So Emeka says that he doesn't trust Osimhen's edge. I think for Africans, for you, for an African, for you to make some good money in Europe, you've got to reduce the number of years you have on your card. And the advantage with Africans is we can play until we are 40, right? I think we're energetic. I think we're physical. I think we've got what it takes to play on top of at the top level until we are 40. We're not like the likes of the crews, the Brazilians who become fat when they get to 35. I think if an African player is keeping in shape, they can play until 40 and they're okay. Just walk around and look at the guys look at the guys in your neighborhood. Look at the guys that look good, that are in shape in your neighborhood. You might think that those guys are 25, 26, right? But actually, the guys that look good in your neighborhood, the guys that are really fully fit, those guys are 40. Those guys are 45. So if Osimhen is saying at the moment that he's 25, maybe he could be 28 or he could be 30. I still think that there is another extra 10 years in an African player, if he's 30, to still go. And I think for Arsenal, again, what we want with Osimhen is for him to make that ball cross the line. I think he can actually do that very, very well. So, is he injury prone? Now, when I look at the number of games he's putting up, Osimhen, I think there is an element of injury proneness. There is that element. But why I am not concerned about it, this is why I'm not concerned about it. I think he's still managing to put up very good appearances for both club and country, despite the fact that he picks up injuries. And I also don't think that his injuries are the level of Pedro Neto, Ansu Fati, which other injury problem, Vasil Kabudiabe, Jack Wilshere. They're not injuries that will keep you out for a long time. This season, he played 25 games, but remember, he played 25 games, he fell out with the guys at Napoli. So that could be a deciding factor. That could be a decisive factor as well. Last season, when they won the league, he played 32 games out of 38 in the league alone, played 6 in the Champions League as well. So he played 38 games. Is he injury prone? Really? I don't know. Is he injury prone? Because I've looked at his injury record before, and I don't think that it is worrying. Personally, I don't think it is worrying. Let's look at transfer market, right? Let's look at the transfer market. You could have a point, right? You could have a point. Let's look at the transfer market website and see how injury prone is Victor Osimhen. There, right there. How injury prone is Victor Osimhen? He had a muscle fatigue last season, and that kept him out for 38 days. 38 days, that's 1 month. Okay, that's long. So in June 20th, right? That is May 13th to June 20th. I think this was close to the end of the season, right? This was close to the end of the season, and he only missed 2 games. Muscular problems last season, still between March 13th and March 17th, 4 days, he missed 1 game. He had fitness issues. Now, this is where I might agree with you when it comes to age. Like, Osimhen having fitness issues, a pro footballer having fitness issues, questionable. Missed 1 game due to fitness issues. Maybe he was recovering from an injury. Probably, yes. I mean, yes, he was. Then he had abdominal problems. That's an injury. He had a hamstring injury that kept him out for 42 days, right? And then he had a broken cheekbone that kept him out for 54 days as well. Okay, I agree with you. The reason why I will agree with you that he's injury prone, he's picking up these small injuries that could be worrying. Yeah, he's picking up these small injuries, Osimhen, that could be worrying. But when I look at the times he's missing and the games, the most number of games he's missed has been 13. That was in 22, and that was for both for Napoli and Nigeria. Right, he missed 13 games with a cheekbone injury that was broken. After that, he missed 2 games, 7 games, 4 games, 6 games, 1 game, 2 games. I don't think he might have that injury, prone problem, but I don't think it is one that worries me. I don't think it's one that should, stop Arsenal from signing Osimhen. Emeka says, Cossy, remember it's only Mikel Obi that only lasted longer than every other Nigerian footballers. You're true. I mean, that is very right. That is very right. Your players don't have that longevity, but the longevity might not be because Nigerian players are lying about their age. The lack of longevity could be because Nigerian players are not taking care of their bodies well as athletes. There's a difference. The reason as to why Ronaldo has been able to, as Latin, the reason as, and Sergio Ramos, the reason as why such players have been able to play at the top level, the likes of Luka Modric, you find that such players are not, are not losing sleep, right? Because they're in bars, because they're drinking. You find that they are not drinking. You find that such players are not, having extramarital relationships. You find that such players are always hitting the gym. They're always putting in extra training. And probably our African players here don't do that. It's the same problem I've just talked about with South American players and Brazilian players. They literally don't want to hit the gym as much as these other athletes. They don't want to do that. They want to stay in a comfortable zone. So if you want to stay in a comfortable zone, and you want to drink beer and you want to do parties at 32, at 33, by the time you're 34, 35, your body is definitely, tired. It is definitely worn out, right? So let's be honest about this, right? Let's be honest about this. Osman's injuries are not worrying. They are not worrying, but I hear you when you say he's gonna miss he's gonna miss those small games, and maybe misses a Man City game, and maybe misses a Manchester United game. And for an athlete, you've got to be able to take care of your body. Like your body is literally your your income stream. If you cannot take care of your body and you're an athlete, then definitely 100% you're not fit to play at the top level. But still, I'll take Osimhen, no question. I'll still take Osimhen, Arsenal. Mwene says, please get us Victor Yokeres. This is Mwene from Zambia. Okay, big up to you. I mean, look, I like this channel because many of you think like me. I remember doing a video towards the end of the season where we were talking about who should Arsenal sign, and we said a striker is a must. And most of your comments really agree with me, right? I don't know why Mikel Arteta is 100% sick on signing a left back, but we will get to know when he signs one, and we'll get to know how we'll use him next season. I don't know why Mikel is convinced that Arsenal don't have, Arsenal really need 2 midfielders with Emma Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira still in the team, but we'll get to know when we sign them, right? But at the moment, what we can say is Arsenal are still working on a striker. And I think, according to Fabrizio, what he's been talking about, it seems like Arsenal have zeroed down on Gyökeres and Osimhen, because his last tweet about Arsenal signing a striker was, Arsenal have not yet decided. They have had internal discussions, but they have not yet decided on which option. In the recent few hours, he's only talking about Gyökeres and he's only talking about Osimhen. And the cross-cutting factor is that the price must come down on those deals to happen. For both deals to happen, the price must come down. And that tells you much you need to know about who Arsenal want to sign. They want to sign Osimhen, they want to sign Gyökeres, but the price has to come down fast for these deals to happen, right? Okay. I mean, I've been watching this Portuguese game. It's quite very interesting. Hope you guys have enjoyed the Euros too. So David Raya, guys, David Raya signs for Arsenal for 27 million. It's our first done deal of the summer. More are going to come. I won't be surprised to see in the next 72 hours Arsenal entering negotiations with the player we didn't expect or with the player that we had not heard about. I won't be, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised for Arsenal to make three signings in the next like 20 days or less than 20 days. Remember, there's a time when Arsenal signed Jesus and then Fabio Vieira and then Alexander Zinchenko within a very short period of time. Remember that, remember that was in 2021 or 2022. I think around 2022 there, right? In the summer. So it's going to happen. Like I say today in the morning, Arsenal begin their transfers today, and we've kicked off with David Raya signing. More are going to come. Like lots more are going to come. Who has Arsenal signed? I'm hearing. Here we go. Uh, here we go in Mbale. The David Raya deal has been made permanent. Arsenal have activated the 27 million clause to sign David Raya. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Tomorrow we are back live and with more uploads as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to your favorite Arsenal channel, and we'll meet you in the next one.